Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiba at kakaibang plataforma sa digital broadcast mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday na po. Imagine, Thursday na naman. Talagang we don't really feel the days passing by. It's just a breeze, no? Talagang napakabilis ng oras, napakabilis ng panahon. May na po tayo at election na po sa Monday, no? Of course, everybody's going to make their pitches. Maghahabol lahat po ng kampanya this weekend. At I understand po sa Manila po may mga meeting de avance lahat yata sa Manila sa weekend na ito. Because I know that ang kampanya po, it has to stop before May 8. So May 7, yan po ang last day ng pangangampanya as I heard, okay? Tapos po, kagaya ng sinabi natin, right? Yung mga protocols po, anong kailangan suotin, anong kailangan gawin, sa pagboboto, di ba po? Pinag-usapan natin na on the day of the election, pagpunta niyo po sa presinto, hindi kayo pwedeng nakasuot ng t-shirt na merong kandidato. Bawal po yun. No, you cannot go there sporting a t-shirt. Hindi na bali yung kulay. Diyos ko yung maiwasan naman anong mamili-mili ka pa ng kulay. Hindi na bali yung what they call this? Yung kulay ng suot nyo. Just make sure po na walang branding. Okay? Walang kandidato face doon sa shirt nyo. At saka bawal po yung namimigay ng mga bowler or mga they call this pamaypay na yun pa, merong mukha ulit ng mga kandidato. Bawal talaga. Okay? Hindi yan pwede. So, huwag nyo nang, para hindi kayo papasukan, baka hindi pa kayo pabutohin, huwag nyo nang gawin. Okay? If you go to the polls, make sure that you don't wear any candidate. Okay? Alright. Okay. Ayan na nga, no? Itong ating mga, okay, yeah, we haven't been talking about other stuff na tungkol sa technology sa ibang countries. But today po, yun nga, of course, anong nagtitrending pa rin, yung pagkabili ni Elon Musk ng share sa Twitter. Actually, yun na nga, lumabas na yung totoong reason, di ba? He was actually buying it for $44 million. But I don't know kung bebenta nila eventually. Okay? And so today we'll talk about mga advance in technology at saka mga balita across the world regarding technology and mga developments. Okay, let's start po tungkol nga dun kay sa pagbili ni Elon Musk. Okay, kasi sa San Francisco noong May 1, 2022, Elon Musk wrote to turning Twitter into a money-making platform where anyone can say anything. Looks to expert like a tough one. Kasi ang gusto niya kasi maging free venue for people to say anything they want to say. No? Hindi nga, di ba? Under fire nga yung mga Facebook, ang YouTube, under investigation, everything. Twitter para tungkol sa mga pag-curtail or pag-censor ng mga pinopost. Siya naman, gusto niyang magawing ang Twitter to be a money-making platform where anyone can say anything. Well, ang kanyang 44 billion pala, hindi million, $44 billion deal, yan po ang offer niya para bilhin ng Twitter. Okay, Musk's 44 billion deal, taga, tingnan nga natin itong ano niya, saan ba siya? Where is he? Sino ba yung picture ko na yun? Hold on a second, please. Bear with me. Never mind na. Alam na natin itsura ni Elon Musk. So, sa dami ng mukha niya sa internet. Well, okay, his 44 billion deal to buy the global messaging platform must still get the backing of yung mga shareholders sa regulators. So, yung mga experts, dineliberate nila. Kasi nga, binibili niya 44 billion. Una, bumili lang siya ng 9.2% share. Tapos na in-offeran siya maging board member, hindi siya pumayag. Kasi alam niya na pag naging board member siya, he can only buy as much as 14-point-something% of the company. Eh pala, intention niya, bilhin yung buong company. Yan na nga, nag-offer ng 44 billion. And while Musk has not revealed nitty-gritty details of how he would run the business side of Twitter, he has voiced enthusiasm for dialing back content moderation to a legal minimum and making money from the subscriptions. Other than advocating free speech, Musk hasn't articulated a vision of what the platform can be. Sinabi to ng creative strategies analyst si Carolina Melanesi. Okay? He hasn't said if Twitter has an age issue, a geographic skew, who is the biggest competitor? What else is he thinking? Subtract ads, magbawas daw ng ads, must talk of doing away with Twitter's advertising model for revenue, relying instead on subscriptions. Sabihin, membership, no? Does not appear feasible, eh? Baird equity research analyst Colin Sebastian said in a note to investors, Elon Musk has floated the idea of ditching the ad revenue model, parang sa Facebook, yung mga ads. Tatanggalin niya yun, gagawin niyang subscription. Ay, hindi maraming tao magsusubscribe, I don't think, na may bayad, no? Kasi mas what's been working is yung outright pagbayad ng ads. We struggle to believe this will happen altogether unless he plans to fund interest payments on debt out of his own pocket. O nga naman. Analysts, okay, parang di nag-iisip naman masyado itong si Elon Musk. Analysts doubt that Twitter users would flock to pay for premium content or features such as retweeting posts when social media platforms such as Facebook are free of charge. Diba? Talaga naman, it doesn't make sense. Bakit ka magbabayad para i-retweet at post na ibang tao? Samantalang nagagawa mo naman yun sa Facebook at kung sa iba pa, right? Musk could try selling posts or asking other websites to pay for anything they use from tweets. Diba? Ano ba itong iniisip niya? Anyway, I'd like to welcome our friends to the show. Good morning sa inyo. Happy Thursday sa lahat. I had a very busy Wednesday yesterday because I had this I had this favorite teacher campaign po sa aking teaching platform. At ako'y napiling one of the favorite and popular teacher campaign. So, yung campaign po na yon ay in-offer nila pong libre na i-book yung classes ko as being one of the popular teachers as much as kung sino gusto mag-book. Pero yun na nga, my God, I taught 20 students yesterday. Nahilo na ako sa pagod sa dami, pero hindi ko kaya. Because some people, they teach up to 25 to 30 in a day. And sa akin, ako, in my teaching, I just teach 12 to 14 students max because I do other things, right? You know, I do my writing, I do my forums, my webinars. So, sa akin yung 14 na students, pinakamadami na yun talaga. But yesterday, I overdid myself and taught 20 kasi nga ang dami nagbo-book ng class ko. Pinaunlakan ko naman. Pero yun na nga, pagdating nung gabi, medyo naduling na ako sa hindi naman namalat. That's something that hindi nangyayari sa akin yung pagpamamalat. Even though I talk a lot and I teach a lot, because there's a way to do that. I train people to modulate their voices when you're teaching para huwag kayong malapit. Alright? So anyway, going back to what we were talking about, right? Yun na nga, yung mga experts, they're doubting itong motives nitong si Elon Musk or yung kanyang strategy or yung plan niya, okay? Analysts doubt talaga that Twitter users would flock to pay for premium content, di ba? Or features such as retweeting posts. Bakit nga gagawin, di ba? It doesn't make sense. Musk could try selling posts or asking other websites to pay for anything they use from tweets. Kasi sabi niya, Musk proclaims stance as a free speech. Ang stance niya kasi ano siya? He's a free speech absolutist. Tapos he promises to undermine the advertising on which Twitter currently depends on for revenue. Ganyan din kasi sa Facebook, diba? Ganyan din sa Instagram, sa YouTube. Pushing heavily into subscriptions is likely to reduce audience at Twitter. Talaga naman pagka nilagyan mo na ng cost yung pagre-retweet, sino pa ang magsistay dyan? Dilipat na lang sila or babalik sa Facebook or sa ibang na libre. At the same time, allowing more controversial posts creates toxic environment. Kasi yun na nga, gusto niya maging freer speech. Di ba, inaano na nga sa Amerika yung ganyan na dapat kino-curtail, dapat sinesensor yung mga posts na nakaka-harm or nakakaiba ng masamang mindset sa mga tao. Okay? So, allowing more controversial posts would create a more toxic environment that puts off advertisers, di ba? Mati-turn off yung mga mag-advertise niyan kung nag-a-allow ng post na ganyan. Ito ang sinabi ni Lauren Walden of Zero T Digital Marketing Specialty Firm. As Twitter struggles with profitability, okay, Musk will be on the hook for hefty interest payments from financing arranged to buy the San Francisco-based company. Okay? Meanwhile, U.S. legislators are already threatening to modify a law sparing internet platforms from responsibility for what users post. Okay? Ayun na nga, pinapamodify na kasi merong law na parang inaalis yung sisa sa kanila na hindi sila responsable sa mga posters. Hindi naman kasi pwedeng hindi ka maging responsable kasi kung hindi nga, kung ano na lang talaga na fake news at saka mga malicious posts or yung mga life-threatening things, ang ipopost ng lahat. They could use a Musk-led Twitter as a poster child for the effort. Kasi yan ang gustong gawin ni Elon Musk, gawing free speech, yung free expression yung Twitter. Yikes, okay? Parang hindi maganda. Troll roadmap? Well, Musk's talk of getting rid of bots, software-powered accounts that fire off posts, and verifying user identities runs up against privacy concerns, as well as the very free speech right he claims to cherish. Okay, spam is a form of free speech, said the Duke University sociology professor Chris Bale. Some of the proposals ng ginawa ni Musk that he put out there might actually contradict each other. Changes Musk plans for Twitter include making public the software running the platform, letting people see how posts are handled, and even recommending tweaks. Ay, sos. Ano yan? Edit. Yun na nga yung edit. Making Twitter software open source could give users insight and control at the platform, but would provide uncivil actors. Yun na nga. Yung mga naggumagawa ng fake news, yung mga hackers, lalo sila magkakaroon ng liberty na gumawa ng masama at gumawa ng fake news. Kung pwede na nilang i-alter or pwede na lang nilang i-edit with instructions on how to better spread their posts. Paradoxically, open sourcing the platform may actually make it easier for trolls to dominate the platform. Total na naman. Magiging mas open, open field, di ba? Musk will be taking control of Twitter while still running electric car maker Tesla, tunnel drilling enterprise Boring Company, private space exploration endeavor SpaceX, and a Neuralink project to sync brains with computers. Nakakaloka talaga ng si Elon Musk. Yung brain ng tao isi-sync na sa computer. Ano yan, maglalagay ng microchip sa utak. Tapos iisipin mo na lang, gagawin na yung task, no, ng computer, gagalaw na. Scary. Okay? So, ano ba to? Nabili na pala ng 44 billion, pumayag na to si Twitter. It is like he is collecting CEO jobs. Okay? Tech analyst Rob Enderle of Enderle Group. Maybe with 10, he gets free coffee. Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey was heavily criticized for dividing his time by running digital payments from Block, then called Square, while he was chief of Twitter. However, Musk is a proven success as a businessman and the world's richest person. Yan ang pinakamayaman na tao sa buong mundo, si Elon Musk. The only thing that gives me pause is that he has expertise in engineering firms, but Twitter really isn't an engineering firm. It's not about teaching a car to drive itself. It's about serving the interests of the people. So, ayun po ang concern ng mga experts, okay, tungkol sa pagbili ni Elon Musk ng Twitter, okay? Well, okay. Ano pa po ang balita natin? Wait, sandali lang. Tungkol naman sa Philippines, right? Okay, teka. Yan po yan kasi may nag-text tungkol sa Elon Musk. Sabi nila hindi po daw pinapag-usapan. That's why nauna ko na yan pag-usapan. Alright? Well, with regards to subscriptions naman po, makonect ko lang po, no? Na itong si Twitter, mag-charge na sila ng pag-retweet or repost. Yung Netflix naman, di ba? Because the sales of the subscriptions of Netflix has gone down. About 200,000 members ng Netflix po ay nawala. Bumaba po ang kanilang subscriptions. Well, ngayon po, meron silang move to say that baka Netflix will start charging a fee to share accounts. Oh my gosh. I think pag ginawa nila yun, lalo silang mababawasan. Right? The US-based streaming service has long taken a relaxed approach to users sharing passwords with family or friends, but recently saw stock dive on quarterly results that showed cooling subscriber growth. Ayun na nga, nabawasan. Competition in the streaming television market, meanwhile, has been ramping up, particularly from Disney+, with the cost of producing coveted original shows climbing as well. Netflix will begin offering subscribers in Chile, or actually they have begun offering subscribers in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru the option to add as many as 2 people to sub-accounts at a monthly fee of $2 to $3. Netflix Product Innovation Director Cheng Li Long explained, "We recognize that people have many entertainment choices, so we want to ensure any new features are flexible and useful for members whose subscriptions fund all our great TV and films." The Silicon Valley streaming titan has been working on ways for subscribers to share outside their household while also paying a bit more. Netflix said it will allow people already sharing accounts to transfer profile and viewing history of information to new sub-accounts. Okay? Netflix said it will allow people not to transfer, pero meron ng fee kung may mga sub-accounts. Long said the company will study the utility of the new model in the 3 countries before making changes anywhere else. So, ang ginawang ginapig po ay yung 3 country na yan, no? Chile, Costa Rica, at Peru. Okay? Netflix ended last year with 221.8 million subscribers, just below target, after booming during coronavirus lockdowns that kept people at home and on the platform. Things are not looking better for the first quarter of 2022, with the most recent Netflix earnings report saying the firm expected to add only 2.5 million subscribers. Kasi nga, meron na ibang platform, Hulu, meron Amazon Prime, at saka yun na nga, pagka nag-charge na sila for additional subscribe, what do you call this? Yung shared accounts, mas lalo silang mawawalan ng subscribers. Netflix recently announced subscription price bumps in the United States, with the basic option now costing $9.99. Okay? And the most expensive going up to $19.99. Oh well. So ayun po yung balita doon, okay? Tungkol sa Netflix na baka mag-charge na sila. Tinitingnan pa nila yung possibility, tinetest pa po. Okay, tinetest pa po kung gagawin o hindi. Okay? Tapos naman po, after breaching target in April, inflation threatens economic recovery. Okay, ito po sa atin to, sa Pilipinas, no? Inflation in April quickened at its fastest pace in over 2 years, threatening to derail a nascent recovery as high prices crimp consumer spending. Totoo naman po, lahat po nagtaas ng presyo, hindi lang gasolina, pati mga pagkain. In an online briefing on Thursday po, the Philippine Statistics Authority reported inflation accelerated dito po sa Pilipinas ng 4.9% year-on-year in April, quicker than the March print of 4%. The latest reading breached the state's 2.4 2-4 target. It also matched the January 2019 figure. Year-to-date, inflation averaged 3.7%. The inflation outrun is consistent with the BSP's assessment, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas po, that inflation will remain elevated over the near term due to the continued volatility in global oil and non-oil prices, reflecting largely the continued impact of the conflict in Ukraine on global commodities market. Okay, ito po ang sinabi ng Central Bank sa isang statement. Inflation could settle above the government's target range this year before decelerating back to target in 2023. So tataas, no? As supply side pressures ease, while there are signs that inflation expectation is higher this year, it remains broadly anchored to the target in 2023. Sought for comment, June Neri, lead economist at Bank of the Philippine Islands, said the quickening price growth, if uncontrolled, could mess up the economy's recovery. Further acceleration of inflation prints in 2Q and 3Q 2022 will clearly cap the economy's growth potential this year as consumers compelled to allocate a bigger share of their budgets toward basic goods and services and of spending less on discretionary items. Sabi pa nila, kung ang global prices of oil, ng coal, fertilizer, and other key commodity remain elevated, causing inflationary expectations to be further de-anchored, a return to the pre-pandemic output will again be delayed as much as 1 to 2 quarters back pa. Pushed back pa. Dahil hindi pa kaya. Talagang tumataas pa lahat ng presyo. Okay? So, ayun po. Ano? Ayun po ang sinasabi nila tungkol sa inflation. Okay? Okay, on this note naman, no? Ano tong nangyayari to? So, yun po. So, we expect, right, prices to still be high hanggang sa end ng term ng ating Pangulo. Hindi pa nakikitaan ng pagle-let up yung pag-increase ng taas ng mga presyo, right? On another note naman, a local factory output soared to 5-year high in April as restrictions ease, okay? Ang mga Philippine factories po natin naman shrugged off pandemic aches in April as manufacturing output posted its best finish since November 7, 2017. Good news po ito, good news. All while weathering a persistent disruption in the global supply chain. Napansin niyo po sa mga ibang mga tindahan like mga Watsons, ganyan, or even sa SM, that for a long time po, itong ilang taon na, kulang-kulang po yung mga, mga inventory. Pati bumibili ko ng makeup, yung diet kong binibili, hindi na nila ginawa yung foundation na yan. Basta, yung production kasi na-affectohan ng pandemic. Pero ito, the latest print, a result of a monthly survey of around 400 firms, settled past the 50 no-change threshold, separating expansion from contraction. It also marked the third consecutive month of output growth amid easing mobility restrictions due to falling virus cases. Bumababa, drop naman kasi po ang infections, no? But Mariam Baluch, an economist at S&P Global, said the April PMI figure still faced disruptions owing to developments on the international front. Although output growth picked up in April para sa mga Philippine industries. Global headwinds, notably from the Russia-Ukraine war and lockdowns in China, led to further pressure on supply chains. Yun na nga, ang China, linockdown nila yung Shanghai. Business port yan. So yung mga supply and demand, naapektuhan. Furthermore, the rate of input cost inflation eased only slightly from the record high seen in March, leading to another sharp increase in selling prices. Okay? Parsing S&P's report, the local manufacturing sector saw gains from relaxed restrictions. Anong kabutihan na nagawa ng pag-isap ng restriction, alert level 1, leading to faster production output and new orders in April. Yung nga, yung mga production, tumuloy-tuloy lang. Yung mga factories, sige-sige lang. This was the third straight month that output and new orders expanded since March when the PMI bested November 2018 figures. Likewise, the performance was fueled by rebounding client demand, which S&P noted was the highest uptake of pre-production inventories on record. Kasi marami pong naka-backlog na orders kasi yung logistics na apektuhan din, pero umayos na talaga nung later part of last year on to now, no? But input price and output change inflation remained high despite slightly decreasing from the record highs observed in March. Despite those positive developments, okay, demand from international clients slid down in the second consecutive month as shipping costs and pandemic-related restrictions impeded new export orders from materializing. Nagmahal po yung mga pag-transport. Kaya medyo humina ang kita natin sa export. For Leonardo Lanzona, an economist at Ateneo de Manila University, base effects had much to do with the improvement despite better business conditions in April. The increase can be simply reflective of the easing COVID restrictions. Totoo naman, the country had the most stringent lockdown compared to the rest of the world. Hello, the longest lockdown po tayo. Hence, this can simply be due to base effects, he said in a text message. I don't expect this to persist as the world conditions are not expected to increase. While the government has introduced a number of reforms, the financial and trade outlook remains weak. Okay? So, yun po ang take natin dyan. Okay? Alright. So now, let's tackle po yung mga text messages natin tungkol sa mga topics that they wanted to discuss here dito sa ating Buhay Online. Alright. Let's start with, napag-usapan na po natin, no? Yung small business, big dreams. Turn your passions into profitable ventures through e-commerce. Ayan po yung e-commerce facet ng ating show. We will talk about it next week, no? And we will feature resource people that have successful businesses sa e-commerce. Papag-usapan po natin yan sa Thursday next week, or better yet, Thursday next week. Okay. For now, I will just set that aside first, but I promise, yes, we will talk about small businesses and businesses to be done in this pandemic pa rin, at kung ano yung mga naging successful na nitong past 2 years, okay? So we will discuss that on Thursday, okay? Ano po? And, okay. So, now we move on to the topics na tinext sa akin ng last week pa. Tungkol po to sa, kasi diba, gender equality is what we want to have in the whole world, okay? And we'll talk about the difference between, what's the difference between sex is different from gender. Mamaya pag-uusapan po natin yan, no? In the meantime, hindi ko naghahang yung computer ko. Alright? Tapos na itong si Elon Musk. Hold on, please. I'm just trying to fix my view because itong laptop ko nagpapaalam na talaga eh. Anyway, on this note, I'd like to, well, I don't have birthday greetings in order today because for my birthday is on May 9th, election day. But I will be going to Manila for my birthday to celebrate it with my Bautista siblings. Okay, of course, kasama ko ang aking lack of family. No, na punta kami doon, no? And I'm gonna meet up with my child also there who's in Manila right now. But let's talk about wala akong mag-greet na happy birthday. Happy birthday in advance sa sarili ko. But anyway, yun po, yung sa election po, just please be careful and kasi may nagsisirculate ngayon dyan na mayroon na rin mga nalagay daw doon sa mga bawat presinto na haharangin yung mga boto. Just please, when you go and vote on Monday, don't let anybody else touch your paper na sinulatan nyo na, okay? Because delikado. Dahil alam niyo naman, money keeps talking dito sa ating bansa. And I heard that people are being fielded in the precincts, no? May mga inside job dyan na gagawa. Babayaran 5,000 para magbantay. So, just be careful, okay? Alright? Wait a minute, my computer is still hanging. Anyway, for those who want to send us information or resource people that you want us to feature, please feel free to do that. You can send it through my messenger, J Bautista, or on my Facebook, JC Bautista Facebook, or email me at techiemommy@gmail.com so that we can feature yung mga resource people na gusto nyo i-feature dito, at saka to also tackle some topics, or pag meron kayong breakthrough sa technology na gustong i-share, right? Anong problema? Just please let us know, okay? Okay, kakaloka lang talaga nowadays, no? Sa internet, lahat ng mga ads nag-i-intrude sa cellphone nyo, sa laptop nyo, or sa computer nyo. Anyway, let me just talk about this one talaga muna. Oops, wait a minute. Here, okay. Twitter bans ads that defy climate change. Okay? Diba? Ayaw na. Sige. Ano pa yan na? Wala pa yan si Elon Musk na sa eksena. Pero yan. Ang Twitter is going to ban ads that defy climate change science. Okay? In the news from San Francisco, Twitter banned the ads that deny reality of climate change. Twitter's announcement on Earth Day came as it tried to fend off an unwanted takeover bid by billionaire Elon Musk, who has said he thinks people should be able to say pretty much whatever they want on the platform. Misleading advertisements on Twitter. Ito kasi, matagal na kasi itong tinext sa akin na sabihin tungkol dito. Kasi yung mga misleading advertisements on Twitter that contradict the scientific consensus on climate change are prohibited. Para na rin yan yung mga nagkakalat ng fake news tungkol sa vaccine, tungkol sa COVID, ganoon na rin yan, tungkol sa climate change, right? So, prohibited na ang mga ads na yan, okay? Hindi na ina-allow ng Twitter yan sa kanilang platform, okay? Misleading advertisements on Twitter that contradict the scientific consensus on climate change are prohibited. In line with our inappropriate content policy, Twitter Global Sustainability Manager Casey Hunod said in a blog on Twitter, and that misrepresentative ads shouldn't detract from important conversations about the climate crisis. Twitter last year introduced a topic feature to help users find conversations about climate change, and rolled out hubs of credible, authoritative information on an array of high-profile topics, including the science backing climate change. So bakit natin i-allow naman yung mga kontra na tungkol sa issue ng climate change? We recognize that misleading information about climate change can undermine efforts to protect the environment and the planet. Now more than ever, Meaningful climate action from all of us is critical. As tempting as access to Musk's wealth may be, Twitter is not eager to be ruled by a billionaire for shooting from the hip with little regard for the consequences. The global one-to-many messaging platform is moving to prevent Musk from getting his hands on all of Twitter's outstanding shares, signaling worries about where he would lead the company outweigh the preferred payoff. Earlier this month, Musk, the world's richest person, bought and a controversial and frequent user of Twitter, favorite na same Twitter, made an unsolicited bid of $44 billion for the social media network, citing better freedom of speech. Nakatakot yata ipagbenta, no? Musk advocates a hands-off approach to policing content, a thorny matter, particularly in high-profile cases such as that of former U.S. President Donald Trump, who was banned from Twitter after the assault on the Capitol by his supporters as they sought to overturn the U.S. election result last year. But the polarizing Tesla CEO's campaign has also sparked concern among technology and free speech experts who point to Musk's unpredictable statements and history of bullying critics, which contradict his stated aims. Twitter's board opted to employ a poison pill defense under which any acquisition of over 15% of the firm's stock without its okay would trigger a plan to flood the market with shares and thus make a buyout much harder. Yan ang ginawa ng Twitter. Naglagay sila ng poison pill para i-block muna yung pagbibili ni Elon Musk, okay, ng Twitter. Alright. Okay, so now let's tackle. We go to the issue of that impending or matagal ng tinuwi dito. Okay, tapos na to. All right. Let us now bring this to the fore. Okay. Ayan po. All the more reasons now. Sex is different from gender. Okay, pag-usapan po natin yan, right? Sex is different from gender, and here's why both matter. Okay, the concept of sex and gender continue to be used interchangeably despite internet efforts to address this issue. Okay, balikan natin to kasi I think maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or last month, I talked about gender equality and I talked about yung mga labels, no? But we go back to this topic now because the concept of sex and gender continue to be used interchangeably despite the international efforts to address this issue. Kasi the term sex is generally used to refer to a binary of being either female or male, as denoted by attributes that comprise biological sex. Gender, on the other hand, is meant to refer to the various socially constructed roles, behaviors, expressions, and identities of girls, women, boys, men, and gender-diverse people. Okay? So, naguluhan pa rin kayo, hindi nyo maintindihan ang difference. Okay? For example, do you want to know if a new drug was tested and approved for safe and effective use with women? That is a sex question. Do you want to know why women make up the majority of long-term care workers and how this impacts their lives? That is a gender question. Okay? Canada is seen as a world leader in sex and gender-based analysis. However, there are still a variety of challenges in the actual application of this approach sa health research po. Okay? Siguro po, sa coming days po, we will invite panelists and experts on this gender equality issues and the difference. Okay? Kasi po, marami ako nakuha email tungkol dyan. And at the same time po, I am undergoing my own personal take on this matter with regards to a family member of mine. So, gusto ko pong mag-feature dito sa aking programa tungkol sa issue na yan. And have resource people come onto the show and perhaps people with issues about their sexuality or their gender to be also featured, so we can have a fair take on this matter. Okay? If sex and gender-based analysis is truly aimed at advancing our understanding of the ways in which, for example, federal policies and programs are improving the health of women, men, boys, girls, and gender diverse populations, we need all federal departments and agencies to use this approach. However, as indicated by the Office of the Auditor General of Canada, only a fraction of federal departments and agencies that committed to measures such as the Action Plan on Gender-Based Analysis have actually conducted gender-based analysis. Okay? This lack of uptake matters because a sex and gender-based analytical process can be used to determine how diverse groups of women, men, girls, boys, tsaka mga gender diverse people are being differently affected by mga laws, di ba? So, dapat natin yung dapat natin yan all the more to give it attention, right? Itong gender issues, gender and sex issues, because it's becoming very, very concern nowadays tungkol sa mga, so sabihin mo na nung araw, term natin dyan, may identity crisis ang isang bata, no? Tapos, for example, of course, pinanganak kang babae, but there have been struggles in your system, like what happened to Charisse Pempenko, now known as Jake Virus, right? Like all through the lifetime, or syempre to trace na mo sa history, no, it has a lot of things to consider, itong gender equality issues at saka gender issues. But, okay, so I'd like to think that one of these days we will handle and tackle this by having some important resource people on the show to talk about this issue further. Okay? In the meantime, alamin natin yung difference ng sex at gender based on what I was saying. Okay? It can be challenging to address our correct poorly developed policies after the fact. Diba? Kung i-mandate nyo po or gagawing law itong mga tungkol sa equality among genders or sexes. Okay? Kasi it could be challenging, okay? To address the poorly developed policies after the fact by applying sex and gender-based analysis after they have been rolled out or applied. The point is, kunyari, to ensure that inequalities are addressed at the offset or at the outset of our health policy development process. So, dun sa sa medical issue, medical field, sana dun maayos, no? Para itong mga iba-ibang klaseng tao, these diverse genders can also avail of what is necessary for them to have, like sa medical and all those things, no? The point is to ensure that inequalities are addressed at the outset of our health policy development processes and not as an afterthought, di ba? Dapat ngayon palang isipin na sabay-sabay, or hindi siya add-on to satisfy departmental reporting requirements. One of the stated goals of sex and gender-based analysis, ito po, we're tackling po the issue of gender and sex-based analysis. One of its stated goals is to help government decision makers, right? Including those in the health sector, identify sex and gender considerations, such as the participation and inclusion of diverse populations. To achieve that, these issues need to be incorporated from the very beginning. Umpisa pa lang po, dapat kasali na sila sa programa, okay? While programs and policies are in the development phase, dapat kasali na itong issue na to. Tensions in implementing a sex and gender-based analysis approach have been evident for a long time in the health sector. Urong-sulong sila sa possibility na ito no? For example, in relation to women's cancer screening and cancer registries, the ongoing invisibility of lesbian, bisexual, and transgender populations overlooks the unique cancer diagnosis, treatment, and care needs of gender-diverse populations. Okay? Ulitin natin, no? Sa pag-i-implement ng sex and gender-based analysis, it has been evident for a long time ito sa health sector. For example nga, in relation to women's cancer screening and cancer registries, the ongoing invisibility of lesbian, bisexual, and transgender populations overlooks the unique cancer diagnosis, treatment, and care needs of gender-diverse population. So, nahirap pa rin. In addition, kasi, cancer registries, okay, can benefit from sex and gender-based analysis. Paano? These registries kasi they store, they manage and analyze data on people with cancer to help with cancer surveillance as a resource for cancer researchers and to serve as the evidence base to inform public health programs and policies. Oh, cancer naman pala, hindi naman cancer ang pagiging transgender or lesbian or transvestite or whatever. Bakit na-liken to cancer ang issue? Because if cancer data are collected using a gender binary of male or female patient populations, for example, this information is then fed into the cancer registry, then it renders invisible those who identify as gender non-binary, transgender, or other gender identity. Okay? So, nakaka-confuse, di ba? Ang daming aspects. How then can we inform gender and sex, appropriate cancer prevention, care treatment, and support programs or policies in such instances? Okay? Again, sex is not gender, but we continue to treat these as the same concept. We use them interchangeably. Okay? Pinagpapalit-palit natin yung gamit ng diba, ng word na yan. Okay? Sex is not gender. Okay? Gender is not sex. Pero it's interchangeable nga talaga sa the way we use it. Okay? So, we use them interchangeably. We use them in health research, health policies, and health programs with dire consequences. After decades of trying, we should be able to get this right. Okay? So, that's my take on that. Okay. So, that's the latest news. Balik naman po tayo sa... Wait, may hanging na naman. Okay. So, on another note naman po, no? Ito, kasi we're talking lifestyle now. Morbid as it is, ilalagay ko lang po sa harap. Tapos na to, alright? We'll talk about this one naman. Ayan, naamoy ko na yung barbecue namin. Inihaw na barb. Meron kami inihaw na liempo. At saka sinigang. For lunch. Okay, 3 steps to do before you die. I'm sorry, it seems like a morbid topic that somebody had sent me this to talk about. Okay, I know it's a grim topic. It's really morbid. But in today's digital age, okay, we have to plan for what happens to all our online accounts, diba? Our data, our notes, our photos, our videos, website, playlists, blogs, subscriptions. Pag namatay tayo, anong mangyayari doon sa mga Facebook, mga platforms, yung mga data na nandyan, no? Speaking of subscriptions, more families are dropping streaming services. Money is tight and you may want to consider canceling the ones you use, please. Yun nga, yung Netflix, di ba, bumaba ang kanilang subscription ng by 200,000. Okay? I'm not just talking about business documents or tax forms, okay, on the data side. Everyone should have a plan to protect their precious photos and videos. I hear from too many people on my program who have lost everything, na wipe out yung kanilang memory card, na wala yung mga pictures, na wala yung mga memories. Diba ang sakit pag yung mga importanteng events sa buhay mo nabura because nabura yung data mo or yung information. Take these steps now to ensure your account so that you can save and make sure that your data or your files are saved, okay? Itong mga gagamitin nyo. Apple's legacy, okay? Apple's legacy Contact finally debuted with OS 1.5.2 as a safe and secure option to give someone access to data stored in your Apple account after you die. Ay, ang morbid. This includes photos, messages, notes, files, apps, and device backups. Okay? Some information such as movies, mga music, books, or subscription that you purchased with your Apple ID and data stored in keychain, payment information and password, can't be accessed by a legacy contact. You can add more than one legacy contact, and all of them will be able to access the account to make decisions. Kaya nga tinawag na legacy, di ba, yung mana? So para sa mga namatayan nito, kung paano nila ma-retrieve yung mga information, mga pictures, mga files, mga videos. The person must be 13 years old or older and will receive an access key when you designate them as your legal legacy contact. Okay? So here's how to set it up on your iPhone. Want to be prepared for that day that you have to pass away? Sorry for the morbidity, but okay. On mobile, okay? Pag may mobile phone yung Apple to, select the three-lined menu option in the bottom right. Scroll down to settings and privacy, okay? Tap to open that, then select settings, okay? From the account menu at the top of the next screen, select nyo yung personal and account information, okay? Personal and account information. Wait, gusto nyo makita yung step by step? Sige, teka. I will just try to do it. Teka, wala pa akong paint. But anyway, we only have 3 minutes before we go. So I'll just talk about it na lang, okay? Okay, so ayun na. Sinabi ko na muna yun. Account ownership and control dun sa menu, okay? Ulitin ko. Three-lined menu, open the bottom right, scroll down to settings and privacy, tap to open that, then select settings. From the account menu at the top of the next screen, select niyo po yung personal and account information. Then account ownership and control. You'll see memorialization settings. Click to select your legacy content and notify your contact they're now in that role, okay? So once you have your legacy contact set, go to the memorialization settings. You can decide whether the person you chose can download a copy of what you've just shared on your feed, including posts, photos, videos, and profile information. Once a year, you will receive a reminder of your chosen person as your legacy contact. If you're sure your person won't change or that you'll remember to change them if need be, you can click Stop Annual Reminders in the Annual Reminders section. Okay? If you'd rather have your account deleted, okay, kung ayaw nyo nang ituloy ang account nyo, or kung namatay yung tao, after you pass away, you should get the memorialization settings page and scroll down, okay? Right above the close button, there's an option you can click that says request that your account be deleted after you pass away. Kayo na magsasabi nun, no? Ipaprogram nyo na dyan. Pag namatay kayo, i-delete na yung account nyo. Don't have a copy of all the photos and videos you've uploaded to Facebook? Okay, here is how to get them, okay? Let's focus on protecting your privacy even after you're gone when it comes to Google. You probably have a few things in your search, watch, and location history that you'd prefer to stay private. Anyone with access to your account will only see what you want them to see by setting up an auto-delete. Okay? So Google auto-delete account records after 18 months by default. If you want to shorten that window, you can in a few steps. So, ang Google auto-delete account records ng Google ay tinatago dyan for 1 year and 8 months. You can take more steps, including creating a digital checklist that acts as a rundown of all your accounts, passwords, and online assets. Okay? Bonus tip, okay? So, yun po ang sinasabi tungkol sa pagsisave ng mga data nyo, pictures and videos sa Google or sa iPhone pala. Once you, for example, once a person passes on. Tutuloy pa po natin yan bukas kasi hindi pa po tapos yung aking tip tungkol dyan because marami pang sasabihin. But we will continue about that tomorrow. Okay? In the meantime po, wala. 12 o'clock na naman. No? It's time for lunch. It's time for eating. At saka maraming salamat po for joining me today. Sorry po na late ako kasi marami nang inasikaso muna tungkol sa isa kong trabaho. But thank you so much for joining me. This has been Jaye Bautista with Buhay Online. Maraming salamat. And of course, at the end of the day, 3 things should remain: faith, hope, and love. Maraming salamat po. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you to the friends who are here today.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online. sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Stream Cast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli, maraming